Hey Stampers, Diane Devich here with DDStamps.com, and I want to welcome you to my stamp room. Tonight I'm working with You Are Remarkable. It's a stamp set that I think it's in the online exclusives, but I have the link below in YouTube where it is, and also on my Facebook page. Not my Facebook page, it will be later, but it's on my blog. So, all right. I have to tell you that at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I realized that the projects that I was going to show the things are on back order, and so I totally flipped, changed the script. Hi Sylvie, did a whole new tutorial on a stamp set that I've had for a while that I love the stamp set, and so I said let's do it. All right, so what's new? So it's Stampin' Up's on stage this weekend, and hey Linda, a lot of demonstrators are down in North Carolina, Raleigh. And they've all gotten the new catalog. I'm very jealous. I'm having a tough time. I'm kind of following some people on Facebook just to get some updates. Hey, Mary Ellen, I just decided that I couldn't go. I had too many other things going on when we had to sign up. And now I'm very sad because I'm not there. But that's all right. I'm there in spirit. And I've just decided that I'm going to stamp this whole weekend and do a bunch of stuff. So I got a lot to show you. So I stamped with some friends of mine last week, and they came up and spent the night here, 2 nights, and we stamped all weekend. And oh my gosh, the projects that we made are beautiful. I can't wait to show them to you. I've got a ton of those. And then I've got my demonstration. So I'm going to use that You Are Remarkable in 3 different ways. So I'm going to use it with just inks, stamping and inking. And because it's a 2-step set, which when I first started with Stampin' Up years ago, 2-step stamping was my absolute favorite. And so I'm going to show it with the 2-step stamping. I'm going to show it with the watercolor pencils used as pencils, and then also used as watercolors. So, all right, let's get started. I'm going to flip my camera. Let me know. Yep, you can see. All right, so I'm going to start showing you. I have to show you this card because this was one of my favorites this weekend. So this is the cake that's in the I don't know. I should look. It's either on online exclusives or in the catalog. It's beautiful. Hey, Cindy. Anyway, I love it. I love this. So this ribbon here, let me show you. I actually still have a roll, and I believe it's still available. But it's like this mesh. I love it. And I loved what she did with it here. And I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to use that in some projects that I'm working on. But I love it. And then the new dies, the arch dies, we just did that, and then embossing in the background. But that cake, it's beautiful. And I don't know if you can see, but I Wink Castella'd the frosting so it was glittery. Anyway, it turned out really cute. I love it. Oh, and we did the envelope, and I dropped my stamp on it, so it's inked. Oh well. All right, so these were cards that I brought. I brought the kit, the heirloom kit that we have. One of our new kits from last month, and these are 2 of the cards. They're really pretty. They have a lot of dimension to them. They've got lots of die cuts, so we had extras and everything. And then one of the gals brought these gold sequins, so I put those on there too. But really, these were fun, fast, really fast. And I, of course, stamped my envelope, and then they're printed on the inside, so that's cool. All right, and then this was one of my favorites. I love this suite. This is a cute card. And again, we Wink Castella'd the... Oh no, we spritzed this one with shimmer paint just to give it a little gold shimmer. And then here's another one. Yeah, they're gorgeous. I'm not kidding. And I love this. So this paper comes with these die cuts. And that's kind of what we just really used paper. I guess we stamped a little bit because these strawberries are stamped. But the die cuts just come in the paper. And of course, we did Wink Castella on their eyes and the butterflies. And anyway, and then this is a piece of designer series paper that we just cut out. And you can see Wink Castella that too. But really fun cards. This was kind of a fancy fold that she saw another demonstrator do. Look, it just is different. And it opens up like a regular card. But that was just a piece of paper. All right, let me see. Oh, this. So this little Easter box, I might show this. I was going to show it this week and then I forgot. But maybe I'll show it one of these days. It's super easy. So anyway, this comes off. And I even left the candy in there, but this opens up like this. It's really cute and super easy. And she gave me Reese's Pieces, which are my favorite. In fact, the other night I was like, oh, I have Reese's Pieces in the stamp room, but I didn't eat them. All right. We did this one, which I believe, I'd have to look, but this is one of the stamp sets. This is a die, but it really made a good masculine card. And again, I like those arches. Those arches are fun. Oh, I love this one. I think my sister's going to love this one too, because I know that she has this stamp set. Happy Campers. Look at how cute it is. And she used that paper that's in the big catalog to make it look like the sky was flashing. And then we have trees that I Winkastelled, and then the little camper. It just turned out really cute. I love it. And of course, it's got a lot of dimension to it. These gals that came up they've been stamping with me almost since I started, and they're fabulous. And then there was this one. Took me a minute to figure out that said love with the tools, but just a really cute card. Using that tool set that's available. That one's available online still. It might be in the catalog too. I don't know. Anyway, all right, those are the cards I wanted to show, and now we're going to get on with stamping. So this is the stamp set that I'm using. You Are Remarkable. Kind of got a glare on it, but it's a great one. I loved it. I loved it from the time I saw it. And yes, it is a two-step stamp set. The images on the outside are shown at 80%, so they're actually much bigger than what you see. So you'll see that tonight when I'm working on it. And then I'm also going to use these new dies that we have. Now these dies, they do come as a bundle, textured notes. And I didn't get the bundle. I just got the dies because I love them. Look at each one of them has a different edge. Can you see that? And we're going to use several of those. But it does have a stamp set that coordinates with it, if you're interested. All right. So let's get started. I've got some cardstock here. I'm using Basic White Thick as my base. And I don't know if anybody read the email I sent out about cardstock and what was happening with the new catalog. And they were going to only have the Basic White Thick in 12 by 12. And demonstrators across the country got upset. They wanted it to be 8.5 by 11. So anyway, Stampin' Up! Changed, and we will continue to have thick cardstock, 8.5 by 11. So that's cool. All right, so this stamp set, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this flower first, but first I'm going to add, I used some of I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little bit of a print to it. This was the birdhouse. I'm sure that's not what it's called. Let me find out what the paper's called, because I haven't used it for a while. And anytime there's a new catalog, that means new paper's coming. And I like to use what I have. Oh, here it is. Got a true mess going on in here. All right, so this is called Country Lace. And I don't know, it could still be available in the next catalog. We just never know, but I like the texture this gave the background. Just a real subtle texture. Like that. And then I've got a couple of pieces here. I've got this one that I'm going to use. I'm going to cut out this frame on this piece of cardstock. So I'm going to do that on my machine, and I'll be right back. I should have cut this out before I started. All right. While I was prepping for class, I got 2 phone calls that were really important that I could not ignore, and so I feel like I'm a little behind. All right, so we have this layer that's going to go on here with that nice texture, and then this is the piece that I'm actually going to stamp, and I'm going to do the 2-step stamping. So what I'll use is the flower stamp, and then it has this bold stamp for the inside of the flower, and the leaf stamp for the leaves. Let me find a block. And I will tell you, I haven't tried this yet today to match them up, but I'm sure I can do it. Okay. So those are the 3 stamps that I need right now. And then I will also have this stamp. These words. And these all came out of the same stamp set, just so you're aware. Get that one ready. All right, so here we go. To begin with, I'm going to use pecan pie. And that's what I'm going to use to actually stamp the line, the detail line of this stamp. But one of the things I like about two-step is that you get a detail and then you also get the solid to fill it in. So it's kind of nice. All right, so this is going to get stamped on this piece of cardstock. Like that. Perfect. One of the things I like about it is the pecan pie just gives your image just a little softer look than black. And sometimes you're looking for a little softer look. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper because I might want to stamp off on this Daffodil Delight. It seems kind of bold. So I'm going to ink it up. I don't know how wet my... Oh no, that's perfect. All right, so this is one of those stamps. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got the little dots on it. And so it just gives a real subtle image. I like it. I wasn't sure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And then what I'm going to do is probably get my head in the way. As I line this up, this is the hardest part. I want to stay in the camera, but I don't want my head in the way. All right, I think I got it. Oh, perfect. So there, you stamped it, and then you get your color in there. And then we'll do the same thing with Old Olive. I'm gonna test this one out too, because I actually did stamp this one earlier today. But I know my Old Olive just seems really dark to me. Yeah, it'll be fine. So I'm going to re-ink it, and then I'm just going to line this up. And so what I'm doing is I'm lining up the image with like this here. And I can see through there, even though it's pecan pie, I can still see where I stamped that pecan pie. And I just have a really quick card with a stamped image. It's all colored in. Got a little bit crooked, but you know what? It's stamped art, and it's good for it to look homemade. All right, now I'm going to stamp this saying on here. Friends are flowers in the garden of life. That's really pretty. I like it. Oh, and I need to do the inside of the flower. All right, so this stamp set actually does have, let me grab another, this block will work. It has this little tiny jelly bean looking thing that I can put in there. That makes all the difference. It really does. That's funny. So one of the things that you'll notice with this image when they stamp it is the way that they've done the stamps with dots. You already get your shading, so you can see the shading in there. Oh, good, Janice. So you can see the shading. Sometimes you can see the dots, and if you don't like the dots, you can just take a blender pen or even a little bit of water in a water painter and brush that out. Let me show you what I mean. So a water painter has water in the tube. One of the things they told us is that the water painter, whoever manufactured these for Stampin' Up, they've gone out of business. So it is, they have a few left. They're looking for a new vendor. So anyway, you can just go through and actually add a little water. Not too much, because I'm using just a regular cardstock. So you just want to really have it be a dry brush. And it kind of brings out your colors, and it will hide those dots. I don't mind the dots. But some people don't like them, so. And now you've made your friends look at it and think that you watercolored. But I do like how it shades out the, or has the different tones of the same color, just by how many dots there are. All right. You can do the same thing with the yellow, but you know, I don't see the dots as much with the yellow, but it just gives it a hand-painted look. Oh, I missed a leaf. And if you miss a leaf, you can really tell. And as that dries, those will blend out. So there's that. All right, this is actually going to just get attached to this. And I'm kind of thinking that I want to put it on with dimensionals. So I'm still using the dimensionals from the paper pumpkin. I think I talked about that last week, and they gave us these huge sheets of dimensionals, which I love. But I will tell you that this weekend I went through 2 sheets of regular dimensionals. These just happened to be not close in reach with all the card making we did, and I have these little white papers everywhere in my house because not only did we track them around, but so did the dog. All right, so we're going to go ahead and place this on that frame with dimensionals, and it just really makes this pop. I love it. All right, now I'm going to take the linen thread, and I'm actually going to wrap it around this card twice. I'm going to leave a tail, and then I'm going to tie it. So I need to cut it off. I use a linen thread a lot. I think it's kind of a staple. Everybody should have it in their stamp stash. Because it just adds a little bit to a card and not too overpowering. All right. So I just went ahead and did like a double. I'm going to scoot that over. And then I'm going to attach this right onto my card. I'm going to scoot. The nice thing about ribbon, when it's wrapped around the card like that, you can move it where you need it. See, I want that to go like there. I want it to be a little off center. So I'm going to go ahead and put on, and this I'm just putting on with tape, because I already have it on with dimensionals on it. And I'm going to add that on to my base. And then, because, you know, it's never enough, I'm going to add on some of these Starburst sequins, which are the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use I could use the white too. They'd be kind of pretty. Decisions. I think I'll use the daffodil. And as you know, I like to do things in 3s. So 1, 2, and 3. And there is my card done. I think it really turned out pretty. I love the layers. I love the look of the rectangle. What's it called? Textured note dies. I'm always going to call them rectangled something. All right, there's card number 1. All right, let me see if there's any questions. Jana, everyone, we just had a huge thunder, lightning, hailstorm pass over. Ooh, I'm glad that you still have internet. I'm sorry to hear that. So last week I was whining about the snow that we had. And I will tell you that this week, the snow, it's not all melted, but oh my goodness, we lost a lot of snow. So today it was in the high 50s. And the snow is melting like crazy, but I just watched the weather on the news and we're getting another snowstorm tonight, which makes me sad because we get so excited when we see grass, even though it's brown, but that's all right. Our time is coming. All right, so the next card, I'll just move this one to the side for now. We're going to bring this one in. I've got some pieces cut, and so I'm using the basic beige, and I actually cut 2 layers, and a little Cajun cliffs of coral, and then a piece of basic white. And so on this card, on this one, I'm going to use this piece, and this stamp set, and the pecan pie. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. And I'm going to make a background piece. So which just means I'm stamping it randomly all over my card. Oh, that's what happened earlier. All right, once I've done that, then I'm going to bring in, there's this cute little bee in this stamp set. So far I told you there's a jelly bean that's actually the inside of a flower, and then there's this cute little bee. And we're going to stamp this bee all over my background too. And I'm just really filling in. Be careful when you get so much ink on your block that you don't churn it and end up with a mess. All right. So once I've done that, let me close this so I don't end up with this all over. I am going to bring out my watercolor pencils. So we have two sets of watercolor pencils. We have this set number 2, which comes with all these colors. And then we have set number 1, which is probably the one I've used the most. But these have some really fun, bright colors. It's been a while since I've used the watercolor pencils. And today I was having a hard time trying to figure out, what to do with my colors, what to do with my inks. I always use blends. This set, I just knew it needed something different, and I think this is what it needed, was watercolor pencils. So I'm going to show you how I colored one of the flowers, but then I actually have a sample that I colored earlier today, so you don't have to sit and watch me color the whole thing. But how I did this is I came in with a yellow, which is Daffodil Delight, and I just have a pencil sharpener next to here in my stamp room that I use when my tip gets dull. So I'll tell you if I'm going to do it, because it's probably going to make an icky sound. But so I'm just going to go ahead and lay down some Daffodil Delight, and this is kind of a waxy watercolor pencil. So you can blend with it. So I'll color this flower in. And then I'm going to come in with some Calypso coral and just add some into the middle of this flower. And as you can see, I'm not like making anything perfect. Just like with my blends, I lay down some color and hope it works. I don't want it to look too planned, but I do like the blended look of this. And then you can go back in with your yellow if you want and go back over some of that, and it will just blend in really nicely. And I'm really just doing like what I do with blends, and I'm just kind of getting rid of that harsh line. And then the middle, I'm going to go ahead and lay down Calypso Coral on the middle, and then I'm coming in with a little early espresso and making it just a bit darker on the edges. I can come back in with a little Calypso Coral. And then I've got an Old Olive that I can color these leaves with. And again, if you want to add more color, you could layer this color. So let's just say here, let me get this done. If I wanted to come back up here and add in more Old Olive, I can just do another layer. It's going to give it a little bit of shading, but I'm just using these right now as if they were colored pencils. All right, so there's how I did my flower, and this is my piece that I did earlier. Just colored it all exactly the same way I just showed you. And then I colored in the little bees. So I'll save this for later. All right. I don't know what happened to my nice little box for my pencils, but I ended up putting them in one of the containers. Now that I've got this all done, I'm going to go ahead and start putting this card together. So I'll take my Calypso Coral. It's the same color orange that I used in the flowers. Put that on there. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap this. Well, let's do this first. I'm going to do, I'll use another saying in that same stamp set. And this time I'm going to come in with Calypso Coral. Oh, look, this is what I wanted to show you tonight. So I just got a brand new Calypso Coral ink pad. I don't know what happened to mine. It could have disappeared. It could have, I don't know. It could be, it's not here. It's not in my stamp room because I have cleaned out my whole stamp room. So brand new Calypso Coral. I wanted to show you guys what I do with my ink pads when I get them. So on the back of it, it has these stickers that tells you what the color is. And if you pull one off, you can put it right on the edge of your ink pad. And then when it's stored in your, wherever you store them, you'll know what color you have. Now, we have different languages back here, but sometimes, you know, there's English and two of them. And so I actually put them one on each side, even if it's not the right language, because then if I put it into my stamp thing wrong, I still know what color it is. All right. And then the last one that they have is this one here. It's a blank. And there's a couple extras, but this one here, that's a blank. And pull that one off. And when you open up your ink pad, I haven't even opened this, so I shouldn't have done that. We'll put that there. There we go. So I'm going to open up my ink pad, and then this color goes right down here inside your ink pad. And I just use something to make sure that gets put down so that when it's open, you know what color it is. So I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but I was like, oh, this is an opportunity to show them how to put together a Stampin' Up! Ink pad. And stamp that down. Ooh, sometimes the simplest things mean the most. You know what? It's crooked to me. Oh yeah, look at my, it's crooked on my block. All right, so then you just flip it over because you own both sides of the paper. Again, I got to get over the, I think it's crooked. It's funny. Oh well. I think it's just the font. I think it's operator error. All right, so there's that. I'm going to make this into a little banner. Maybe I'll go a little bit sharper. So to make a banner, you just cut up the middle and then cut from corner to wherever you ended. Corner to wherever the middle is. There's that. I'm going to take some of this, and I'm going to take that little bee stamp because I can't get enough of him. I'm going to do him in Memento. Nope, I'm going to do him in Pecan. And the reason I'm doing in Pecan is because I don't want it to... Yeah, Jana, sometimes they're really difficult. So what I tell people is, we'll put a couple of these on there. When you open them up, to begin with, they're hard. Like this one is really stiff. This one that I open all the time is not set. That's as stiff. But you need to make sure. So there it is, right? Here's the little lip. And you open it up like a compact, like, and then open it all the way before you slide it. If you try to do it too soon, it turns into a mess. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, again, I'm going to leave a little tail. I'm going to wrap this several times. That's probably enough. And then I'm going to tie this in a bow. This is just going to be a little decorative edge. It kind of looks like this would be a fun set to make bookmarks with because we have these long sayings. All right, trim off my edges. Slide that up a little bit. Oh yeah, make sure that you really, it's too bad that it's got to be so hard, but you really have to make sure they're open all the way. Put on some dimensionals. And then I'm just going to put my card together. Oops, I already taped that. And then I'm going to add this onto there. And of course, stamp your inside of your card. So I would take like a flower. Stamp it. I could even do a little bee. And then make sure I color it so it coordinates with the front of my card. But super easy, but still cute. And you can see that the watercolor pencils are a little bit shiny, but they blend really well. So that is card number 2. The next card I'm going to do with watercolor pencils, but I'm actually going to add water to them. So let me set this one aside. Let me grab the other one. How's everybody holding up? All right, so this card, I decided to use Old Olive because 2 days ago, I was putting together some packets for people, and I cut a whole bunch of sheets of Old Olive in half, and I meant to give them a full sheet. And so, and of course I cut it the wrong way. The card base had to be the long way, but whatever. All right, so for this one, I actually cut one of the dies out. This one here. I cut that one out beforehand. And then on this one, this is watercolor paper, and I used this die to cut that one out. So there's that. All right, so we're going to begin by using the inside, the leaves, and a little Old Olive. And we're going to just do a little texture around our card. So I'm just laying down some ink on the edges of my card. Just a really fast and easy way to put down some texture. So the next piece that I'm putting on is going to be this one. And we're just going to go ahead and use adhesive. And that's going to get put on there. And then you can see how now I've got some real texture going on because I got this stamped image and then I got these little lines in the die. So that is the base. Then I'm going to bring in my watercolor piece. Now on this one, and talk about the difference between these two inks, the two black inks. So Stampin' Up! Carries Memento and the Carry StazOn. Those are our black inks at this point. I don't know if that will change. I always suspect things change constantly. So when you're using different blacks, these two inks do two different things. So this one is a Memento is a dye-based ink, which is similar to our ink pads like this. So this is a dye-based and this is an alcohol-based. And so what happens is you use Memento when you're stamping that you're going to be doing blends or anything. So because this is a dye base and the blends are alcohol, they don't mix, so they don't smear. Okay, so because I'm doing watercoloring, I'm going to use the StazOn, which is a permanent ink. It can be used, it's alcohol based, and once it's stamped and dried, I can put water on it and it's not going to bleed out. If I did that to this one, it would bleed and make a mess. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to use the StazOn because I'm going to watercolor. StazOn also comes with this little piece of plastic on it to really keep that ink pad sealed. And it also says to use in a well-ventilated area. But I will tell, well, this is pretty well ventilated. I will tell you that I love the smell of it, which I think is weird, but it's really got a nice smell to it. All right, so I'm going to stamp that down. This is on watercolor paper. And pull that off. And then I'm going to clean it right away. And I would recommend that if you're using StazOn with any of your inks or any of your stamps, clean them off when you're done because you don't want the solvent in this ink pad to do anything to your photopolymer, especially your photopolymer. Your rubber stamps will be fine. Your red rubber's good. Your photopolymer is a little bit more, I don't know, delicate, I guess is a good word. All right, I'm bringing in my crayons or my pencils again, and really I'm just going to color. And this time you can, and it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to add water to it. And so where I've got the actual pencil is going to be a little bit darker than where I've left white space. Like I said, this is quick and easy. So there's the yellow. This is probably the hardest because there's so many leaves. But I can leave a lot of white space because, like I said, I'm going to watercolor this. And it'll work. The nice thing about watercolor pencils is that you can do this, like sitting around watching TV, do a whole bunch of them. And then when you get around to it, you can add water to it. And they're, you know, they will watercolor just as well after a few days. All right, so that's done. I'm going to bring in a water painter. Now the water painters come in sets of 3, and I don't know if I said that, but this is the middle size, and then it's got a fine tip, which probably would be good for like the stems, but we're not going to get too carried away. And then a fat tip so that you could add a lot of water and really watercolor. So those are fun. All right, so this has water in it. It says a place on here to push, so you push it and get the water started. Once the water starts coming out, it's good to go. And all you're going to do is just put that water right onto that project and color it out. And again, it looks different only because it's not even. So it does look like, you know, you really did watercolor. Your friends will be impressed when you give them this card. That's my thing now, is to tell people, make cards, make as many cards as you can, and then give them to somebody. Send them out. It would make somebody's day. All right, so there's the flower. I'm going to do the middle. The other thing I've noticed is that when you get the watercolor pencil wet, the color gets bolder. It gets real bolder than it was. Same thing with the leaves. And really, it's okay if you go outside the lines because it's art. And watercolors go outside the lines. And just remember that you're your worst, you are your worst critic. Other people think it's impressive. And you look at this, we all do. We look at the stuff we've made and think, oh, I should have done this differently. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, look, I messed that up. People don't say that when they get your projects. They're actually very impressed. All right. So there's that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another piece of paper. I just need a little scrap. And I want to put some blue down on here, but I don't want to use a color that's too much, that's too bright. So I'm actually going to take my watercolor pencil and I'm just going to scribble onto a piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to add water to it to lighten it up. And then, oh, you know what I really want to do? Here, I wanted to put water down here because I want to make sure that this has like a watery base. And then I might have to scribble on that again because I shouldn't have got it wet. All right, let's start over. So we're going to scribble on a piece of cardstock. That's going to be our palette. We're going to put water on our project where we want that blue to be. Like I said, I don't want it to be real dark. I want it to be fairly light. So just going to add a little bit of a wash and then move it around. Blend it out. Put some more color down. And if you put a whole bunch of water on here, you're going to end up with the blue running into your leaves, which is fine. The nice thing about the cardstock, the watercolor paper that I'm using, is that it really holds up to water. And so I'm not going to get, you can see the shadow of blue. So I'm not going to get warping because that watercolor paper is really, you know, it holds up with the water and the ink. All right. And again, you just go around your card till you're happy. Putting that shadow down. All right, I'm going to quit. Oh, I also stamped some bumblebees because I like them. And then this is just going to get layered onto here. And then we're going to decorate a little bit. Let me show you the card I finished just minutes before I went live. So this is the card. You can see the blue shadow. I did it all the way around. I used a different sentiment because I wanted to use this die from the same die set. And so Hello Friend came, I think it's from like that birdhouse stamp set. It's around here somewhere. Oh yeah, Country Birdhouse. So I used it out of this one, Hello Friend. And a little bee and a couple more of those little starbursts on there. And then I added a little bit of linen thread just to behind the little banner. So super easy, but kind of fun projects. And like I said, what I like about the watercolor pencils is, oops, I'm losing my light. I can't find my other card. Oh, it's under here. You know, they're compact and they're dry and you can take them anywhere and do some coloring. So those are my projects for tonight. I'm gonna pop back on here as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. There we go. See if anybody has any questions. I don't know if you do. I did send out an email this week for those of you who do not have a demonstrator or are not a demonstrator to go ahead and sign up. I'll be mailing out the catalogs, the new catalogs, once I get everything together. We just are now getting to see it, so it's not even available to order out of till May for customers. But I'm going to send them out myself this time around because the last couple times I've sent them, I'm not convinced that the post office got them where they needed to go. So I'm hoping, because I won't be doing the bulk mailing through Stampin' Up, I'll be doing the mailing through my own post office through me, that they will get out and get to people sooner. So watch for those. If those of you who signed up for a catalog, watch for them in the middle of, I'm thinking April, middle of April, April 15th. I know, I'll mail them on tax day and then everybody will have something to look forward to. Yay! All right. Any other questions? If you have any ideas of what you want me to do or show, let me know. Like I said, sometimes I do it quickly on the fly. So it's kind of fun. I love this stamp set. It's a lot of fun to play with. I'm coming up with some classes too. So if you haven't already done so, thank you, Patsy. Thank you, Cindy. Sign up. Thanks, Jana. Sign up for, oh, thank you, Linda. Sign up for my newsletter so that you get informed about when I'm going live. And I always send out lots of tutorials and information. And I know that it's going to be kind of crazy over the next couple months because we have things that are moving to the last chance list and we have in colors that are going out and we have new in colors coming in. And, you know, April and May, April is a wild time. And then May is when you can actually place your order. So out of the new catalog. And there's also online exclusives, which people are missing. So I'm going to start sending out a little more information on that because some of those are the best. They're so fun and the papers are beautiful. So have a great weekend. I know it's not Friday yet, but it feels like it to me. It's been a long week. And I will see you all next Thursday. Same time, same place. Have a great night and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye.